I have quite a story, but the long and the short is I think I found my new favorite PCIe 4 cable for my Persephone build here, and it looks like it's actually a PCIe 5 cable. I started thinking I could replace the Louqe Cobalt cable with a white riser cable, and I found this Linkup dual reverse cable. It's an 18 centimeter size. The fit is pretty perfect. And then I ran into an issue. It seems this cable doesn't work with my 4060. Initially, I wasn't sure what was going on, so I tried many things and even brought out my EVGA 3060 Ti card. I have a feeling it has something to do with the X8 nature of the 4060 card running 8 PCIe lanes versus something that runs 16 PCIe lanes. I tried the white cable, this one, on another Intel CPU machine with the 4060, and it worked. So I believe there's something specific to the Linkup PCIe 4 white dual reverse cables and the AMD X570 chipset, and using specifically the 8 lanes with this cable. Something with the signaling causes instability and the computer to bog down or even crash. I'll confirm things with other cards and motherboards later, but as of now, I think I found the best PCIe 4 cable to use with my build, and oddly, that's this PCIe 5 cable. So this is the new Linkup AVA5 PCIe 5.0 cable. On another note, I have kind of developed a love for Linkup cables. There's a stack of cables that I have here. And oddly, these actually work with the 4060 Ti, or 4060. Even though these are not perfect, they are trying to do their best. I believe that the company is trying to do their best at supplying good PCIe cables. I believe I see it as they are trying to find sourcing for their cables, and they are learning things along the way. So I've had 2 interactions with their company, and in both situations, they handled things exceptionally well. Listened to me and responded. In one situation, the clips on their riser cables, these little retainer, let's see here, these little retainer kind of clips, you can see here, they have a weakness and they break. And after they break, or after they broke on some of these other cables, I had a discussion with them early on and said that, you know, it's just not a good retaining system. They worked with me and, you know, quickly decided, you know, hey, we'll exchange them for you without a problem and for free. Or at least I was able to return them, even though I was well past my window at Amazon and be able to exchange them. The other exchange I had was most recently. So I told them about this cable, and they saw actually that I purchased this cable on Amazon. And they said that if I ended up kind of keeping this cable, that I can go ahead and return this cable. And oddly, what they ended up doing was they just flat out refunded me, and they said you could just hold on to the cable. One more thing I ended up trying to do was I said, you know, I really want to have kind of this white cable for, well, a white build, right? And I tried to order from Amazon and Amazon Warehouse one of these cables, but I got sent this. It's really awkward. It's not the exact same cable. And this is actually supposed to be in the 19-inch or the 19 centimeter cable. I think it is one of their cables because they use this goofy, you know, retaining clip thing there. But it's like an older version of their cable. And what's interesting about this one is this one kind of has, well, first off, you see this like extra little ribbon there. This one just, you know, very uniform all the way through. It looks more close to actually this one where it doesn't have that extra little ribbon on the side. Anyways, this cable, both white cables, do not work with this 4060 Ti, or 4060. So the feeling is that they probably were having a lot of troubles with these cables, and specifically with maybe the X570 and AMD PCIe 4 So my guess would be now, if you were to try to use maybe some more updated cables, that would actually solve your problem. This cable seems to be a lot better, a whole lot better. Anyways, they were able to respond, and that's kind of my response, and I think it's a really good response that they had. And what I also like is that the new cables, they just got rid of the clips altogether, right? I think the idea is the mechanism is over-engineered. The thinking is this was supposed to try to keep it so that it doesn't fall off the cards or things like this, and that hardly ever happens. So they kind of went this route where they just removed it. And as an engineer, I can appreciate the concept of having less moving parts. I think that I found most times these will not fall off, and the extra retention mechanism that they have, it's just useless. So I'm looking forward to see if they make straight cables, or maybe even trying some of their other cables, or at least these AVA cables. And I think that this will probably work very well moving forward. So we'll have to see. I'm actually wanting to try this on a PCIe 5 interface. So we'll have to see if the newer cards come around and I can give that a try with this cable. All right, well, there you go. These do not seem to work, and this new cable seems to work.
So this is for the default, I guess, a baseline. This is the Cobalt, the Louqe Cobalt PCIe cable. You can see the graphics is the 4060 that I used. It has the 8 gigs of memory. The 5600X is what I'm actually still using here. This is more to check the PCI Express to see how fast it goes. And then I'm going to swap it out with the other cables. Okay, it looks like the test finished, and you can see that it's providing the 8 lanes, which is at max 16 gigatransfers per second. It's at 13.01 gigabytes per second. I think that's pretty much what you're going to get for a cable like this.
All right, so this is the 18 centimeter Linkup cable in white. You can kind of see how it looks right there, and kind of wraps around the top here. It looks pretty slick. Fits like a glove, the 18 centimeter. Exactly the right fit for the, actually, if anything, it might be even a little tight. I probably would rather have it a little bit more loose. But there it is.
Okay, so this is the Linkup white PCIe 4 cable with the dual reverse sockets, connectors. What's goofy is that when this starts up, there's some sorts of multiple errors here. If you open up CPU-Z, first thing that happens is that the graphics card isn't detected completely. It shows X8, and the current link speed seems to just stay maxed out for some reason. And then if I were to kind of keep messing around with this and trying to get it to work, it has things like this where it says the PC is unable to run this test. Now I will try to install the drivers. Okay, and it looks like now, still not quite detecting. Let me open this up again. Okay, so now we have all the information. Everything looks good. Launch 3D Mark. See this? It comes up and down. The PCI Express feature test. Oh, that looks like it ran. But the rest of Windows seems to be very unresponsive. And things are kind of freezing up, and my mouse is kind of jittering all around. Definitely is something goofy here. Not quite running very well. Doesn't seem very responsive. This is after I restarted the machine again. It looks like the resolution dropped down to 1024 by 768 again. And the card is not noticed again. The link speed does not seem to go down very quickly or in any sort of responsive way. Something is up with this cable, and the more I play with this cable, I end up getting all sorts of other issues where it crashes or even running any sort of graphics and doing this all over and over again. That just doesn't seem to work. So it looks like the white Linkup PCIe Express cable or PCIe cable, the dual socket or the dual connection, it doesn't, or connectors, reverse connectors, it doesn't seem to work very well. Not with the 4060.
Okay, and this here is the 3060 Ti with the Linkup cable. You can see how that looks. What I like about this card is that the fans aren't continually moving. So if it doesn't need the active cooling, the fans actually slow down or stop. With this card, they just kind of keep running. So I guess kind of one of the benefits of having kind of more of a full-sized card, or well, in this case, larger fans and larger card.
Okay, so this is the Linkup cable, the same white cable that didn't work with the 4060. Swapped out with the 3060 Ti, the EVGA 3060 Ti. Now, the thinking is that the 4060 has an X8 link width, and then this has a X16 width. So this should go the full 16 gigatransfers or gigabytes per second. Performance should be better, but there is no delay in the desktop. I don't see anything, I don't feel anything. Right when starting Windows, it was able to automatically detect, and then the drivers kind of kicked in and was able to kind of provide all of this information, where it was not doing that with the 4060 and the same exact cable. I can run the feature test. Yeah, you see how fast that started? No delay, and using the same exact cable. There's some sort of goofiness with this cable and the 4060, and I have the sense that it's maybe the 8 PCIe lanes versus the 16, and the cable seems to be able to I don't know, maybe communicate things correctly when you're using all 16 lanes, but if you're using only 8, it doesn't seem to work very well. And this is at 26.04 gigabytes per second. And actually, this is pretty good for 16 lanes. I think it can go higher depending on other motherboards. I've seen higher, but I think this is pretty good. This gives me at least a baseline for what this motherboard and this cable, or a full 16 lane cable, can do. I'm gonna try the last cable I have and see if it works better than this. Actually, before I do that, I'm kind of curious about how this would perform compared to the 4060. So let me run Firestrike and do a comparison real quick. That's a pretty good score. Let's see here. CPU only gets up to 67.5. GPU gets up to 72.78. Do here are the results. Yeah, so this is the 3060 Ti, EVGA's 3060 Ti, and that score is better than, looks like, the highest score for any of the 4060 runs that I've had. Let me compare that one with this one. I believe this is the last one I ran. I was satisfied with kind of the setup. Yeah, that's pretty significant. So if I really want to game, I probably should swap out the GPU. Although I really like that small GPU in this machine, so I end up still trying to figure out how to make the 4060 work. Yeah, it's pretty significant. Good, almost like 10% or so, 20% in some places increase. Yeah, that kind of shows you that 16 lanes versus 8 lanes does make a difference.
So this is the Linkup AVA5 PCIe 5 cable. That's the 4060 back in the case. We're going to give this a try to see how this works. It doesn't look that bad. Although the white cable does stick out. We can probably live with this, given that the back plate is black.
All right, so this is the 5600X. We have the 4060, and we're using the AVA5 PCIe 5 cable from Linkup. It looks like it's showing everything correctly. When I started the machine, drivers kicked in, so the resolution looks correct. Let's go ahead and run the benchmark PCI Express feature test. This is pretty good. At least it's not freezing up. Yeah, and the cable runs pretty close to the Louqe Cobalt cable, the default cable that comes in the box. So this is definitely more positive than the white cable. Kind of disappointing that that cable does not work.